Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's so glad to have you guys here. For those joining for the first time, my name is Dunsin Ateji and I basically talk about my experiences here in Canada. All right, and for those my returning subscribers, thank you for sticking around even though I'm not a serious person. Thank you for always being here. Yes, so today is another day for another video, and just as you can see on the topic, I'm basically going to be answering some questions that some people asked me from the previous video that I posted. So definitely stick around, listen. You will definitely catch something that you're going to need, and I'm going to be sharing some very important nuggets. It's not chicken nuggets, but like important information that you definitely need to know. So stay tuned. So the first question I'm going to be answering today, this is from Judy's. I don't really I'm basically saying the name that is on the screen. Okay, so they said, hello Dunsin, thanks for this information. This shows that a good skill is needed so that you can cope with times when you have to look for a job. I'm in the digital need. This motivates me to create my Upwork account and be more serious with getting more clients for this. My question is about UCW school itself. How long does it take before the school contacts you to pay the rest of the fees for the first semester? I believe part of first semester fee is in the initial tuition deposits. Okay, so if you're applying to UCW, you're going to get the what do they call it, like a pre-approval letter, and that letter shows you how much you're going to be paying, what program they are offering you, and all of those things. So the major thing you need to notice that the first initial deposit that you're paying is actually your first semester fees. Okay, it is the first semester fees. You necessarily don't need to pay any other money again until after the first semester is done. And I already mentioned this also in my previous videos about my experiences in UCW. Definitely go back and go and watch it. But I explained that in UCW you have 5 semesters. All right, the first fee you pay, the first initial deposits, is about 7,900 plus. All right, that first initial fee is your first semester fees. All right, the next time you're going to be paying another fee would be when you finish the first semester, which is after 3 months, and then you start the second semester. All right, so I hope I've been able to answer the questions. So yes, she said, is that part of the initial fee? It is not an initial fee. It's an initial deposit, yes, but it is the full first semester fees that you actually have. And that also depends on how many courses you decide to register on. First, if you're a new student, okay, the school is going to register you in your first semester. All right, that's standard. So, and they will always register you for only 3 courses if you're doing the MBA program. Okay, then after they register you for 3 courses, if you decide to say you want to do 4, which I would not advise you to do, but if you decide to say you want to do 4 courses, if you register for an extra one, then you definitely know that you're paying extra money, because each payment is based on each course. So the payment is is combined with the courses. So 2,500 per course, 2,700 per course, depending on the kind of course that you're taking. Also, I've been able to answer that question, but this is just for us to note that MBA is not the only program that you can come and do here in Canada, and I'm sure that we are all aware of some of the changes that is happening, some of the changes that is going on right now, and I would really advise that you do your research before you apply for any school now. Okay, especially for those that are in the sciences, that is actually a very great opportunity for you to look for. Okay, for those coming from science classes, coming from science courses, and you're coming to study MBA, there's no point. There's really no point. It's so hard to even get jobs in those areas even presently. So ensure that you do your research. Look out for courses that are very I'm trying to find the English word, lucrative. Okay, what they are looking for, like in the nursing field, like in the tech field, in the sciences, even sciences like food management, water systems, water resources, engineering. All of those courses, they are very, very important here. A lot of people they are doing business. Okay, so it's now very common. You really even find jobs in those areas. So please check out other schools. Check out so many other options. Don't just only focus on coming to study business administration, MBA, all those things. There are so many other options out there. Don't leave it to agents. Agents will just do the one that is easier for them. Well, I hope you know. Do your research. Let them know what you want, and make sure you pick the right thing. At this point, it's very important that you make the right decision. It's not really about whether, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, or I want to do business. honestly, you need to, especially if you're looking towards staying, right? We all come, work permit, you want to get your PR, you need to look for something that can make you stay. Don't just do anything because you just want to enter Canada. Okay, you succeed in entering Canada, now how are you going to stay? Be very strategic, think about these things properly, plan it properly. Don't just do anyhow. Don't just leave it to agents. Also do your own research, okay, so that you don't make any mistake. That's very, very important. So let's take note of that. A lot of things are changing there. You guys are even hearing it. So many rules, they are implementing so many things. Please and please and please do your research, okay? Don't leave it to agents. All right, so that's it for the first question and an extra nugget I've given you there. Okay, so now the next question, this person is saying, please can you make a video on the housing lifestyle in Vancouver and also the new policies? For new policies, I don't really know so much about everything, but I know that a lot of things are changing, which is also what is happening in terms of the courses, in terms of giving work permits, in terms of spousal work permits. There are a lot of changes. So that's why I said you need to be, check the courses that you're doing, check the school that you're applying to, ensure that the school is DLI and not just DLI, it must also give work permits. Make sure you check all of those things. So there are so many changes. If I start changes is one video is one video alone. So please and please, that's why I already mentioned earlier, make sure you're keeping up to date. Look for courses that are very, very lucrative that would help you get your permanent stay here in Canada. All right, so based on lifestyle in Vancouver, now I'm only going to be talking about BC specifically. Okay, if you're coming into BC, you're studying any course in BC, there are so many locations. All right, one first thing you need to consider is your school. All right, some schools are in Surrey, some schools are in Vancouver, some schools are even in Richmond, some schools are in Abbotsford. So many locations that we have here in BC. Canada is so big, BC itself is extremely big. So you need to first of all consider, where is my school? Now, even if your school is in Vancouver, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get a place in Vancouver exactly, all right? Because houses in Vancouver, they're very expensive. Vancouver is like the most expensive city, if you guys know already. So there are so many other cities that we have in BC, all right? We have Surrey, we have Abbotsford, we have Kelowna, we have so many. I can't even start thinking about anyone. But what I would definitely advise is that, so people are always in these three major areas: Surrey, Burnaby, Vancouver. Vancouver is where most schools are. Some schools are also in Surrey, okay, and Burnaby is like the in-between of the both of them, okay, and they are all arranged according to their housing prices. So Surrey is a little bit expensive, Burnaby is in the middle, Vancouver is very expensive. All right, so if you're schooling in Vancouver, if your school is in Vancouver, if you want to say, okay, I want to stay very close to school and you can afford to pay the rent in Vancouver, that's fine. You can always, find a rent in Vancouver. But if you decide to stay in Surrey, Surrey is actually quite farther from Vancouver, but they have cheaper housing options. So especially if you're coming with your family or you're coming alone, come with your family, okay, you have to do like a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, I'll definitely advise that you have your accommodation in Surrey because it's a much cheaper option for your family. And one thing I've also noticed is that houses in Surrey, they are bigger, okay, bigger in size, especially the old houses. But when you start going to Vancouver, the houses, they're like cage, like they put you inside cage. So if you're coming with a family, 2 children, 1 child, 3 of them, please definitely stay in Surrey. There are also some very good options in Burnaby. So Burnaby, like I said, is in between. If you have watched my video about my first accommodation, that was in Burnaby, and I was paying only $600 for rent. All right, but I'm sure that things have changed now. It's over 3 years now. It must have increased definitely. But that is just to let you know that Burnaby is like in between. It's in between Surrey and in between Vancouver. It's a closer option to Vancouver, a closer option to Surrey also. But it's relatively also as much expensive as Vancouver. So you can make all of these different choices. Lifestyle in Vancouver is like you're in the city. Surrey is like you're in a housing environment. Okay, so many of some particular culture in this side. So many people, you see them everywhere. But yes, please consider that depending on how much you have and it's never how much you have, how much you can actually continue to pay per month. And luckily for you also, we have a good transportation system here in BC, all right? So you're using train, you're using bus. It's not that hard actually to commute from one place to another. So it's not also that expensive, honestly, all right? So definitely I would always, I've been staying in Surrey ever since after a year. When I first came, I was in Burnaby because that was just where I found a place to stay. And then after a year, I moved to Surrey and it has been very good. The houses are big, it's cheaper compared to Vancouver. Like I said earlier, it's very far from Vancouver, which is maybe your school. That is if your school is located there. But also there's a good, free, I will not say free, good, easy transportation system for you to get to from one place to another place. All right, very important. So please consider how many people you're coming with, consider how much you have that you can consistently pay over time. All right, and then transportation system is okay, it's good. You just have to pay a specific amount of money every month, and that also depends on how much you go out. Okay, if you don't go out often, you can just be loading as you are going. It's like paying driver $10 or $20, but it's very, very cheap. So it's up to you. Okay, so that's that about housing if you're coming to BC. Okay, this is just for BC. Like I said, there are so many cities. Kelowna, Abbotsford, they are far. There's like very, very far. If you're living there, it's very far. All right, but it depends. I think there are very few schools in that location actually. So if your school is not there, just don't even think of going there. The transportation will annoy you because it is very far. Like it can literally take you 2 hours to get to any reasonable place that you're trying to get to. All right, so Surrey, Burnaby, Vancouver, Richmond, probably those are your best bet, but Richmond is like your last option. Okay, please consider the first 3 that I told you. Okay, so yeah, that's it for that question. Hopefully I've been able to answer that. All right, the next person said, please, do I need IELTS for my MBA? For UCW, no. Now, schools are different. Some schools will ask you, some schools will not ask you. But one thing I've noticed is that, especially for us that studied in Nigeria, all right, they always say that because we have gotten our education in English, then they don't need it. But for other countries, so you're coming from a French-speaking country, you're coming from the Philippines, you're coming from India, they will definitely ask you to give them your IELTS result because they are not sure if you've received your education in English. Okay, so please always check out the school. That is how you can know. It doesn't apply to all schools. Some schools request that you do the IELTS and some schools do not require that. Also, one thing to note, there is one new rule with IRCC, which means that if you want to apply for your work permit, you need to have an English test. So last, I think you're still going to do that English test. So if you can do it now, or I would just advise that maybe do it, like depending on how long you're going to be studying. We know that IELTS only lasts for 2 years, right? So please ensure that you take the test because at this point, I think we have no choice. So even if your school does not allow it or does not need it, okay, IRCC is going to ask you when you're about to apply for your work permit when you're done with school. So please, IELTS is not compulsory for MBA. It depends on the school. Check the school information, check the school website, ensure that you have all that necessary information before you apply so that you can know what you're doing. Okay, not all schools need the IELTS. And then the person said, and also I studied library and information science and currently I work at a bank. Do I need the MBA foundation? All right. If you're working at the bank, it depends on how many years of experience that you have, all right? But if you have, if you have at least 5 years experience, that is enough for you not to do the foundation because you obviously already have experiences taking business courses, doing accounting, all of those things, you have done it, all right? So definitely do not apply to take the foundation course, and if they give you, you can actually appeal to not take it, okay? So my friend already explained that to me. He studied a science course. He was working at a bank for 9 years and then he was able to, they told him that he was actually eligible to not take the foundation course. So please, I think I've even mentioned this in my video also, if you have any related business experience, okay, any related business experience, and you have worked for at least 5 years in that same experience, please do not opt out for the foundation because you know that the foundation is like an extra semester. So if a normal person is paying 48,000 for their MBA, you are paying about 50-something thousand for your own MBA because of that foundation course. So you do not need it. Also, even if you're taking the foundation, the old MBA courses, there are some programs that you can actually apply for them to take away. Okay, you don't have to take those courses if you have experience. Good example is we have courses like project management. So if you have like a certificate, like you have PMP, or you have, maybe you even have a 4 years degree in project management, you honestly don't need to take the course. So you can always apply to have the course taken, and guess what? That reduces your money for you. You don't have to pay all the money, okay? Because I told you, right, UCW fees is per course. All right, so if you're able to remove at least one course or 2 courses from your load of courses, it actually reduces the amount that you pay. All right, so you can apply to have those courses withdrawn if you have a full experience. They will do exam for you, so be ready. Make sure you know what you are doing, all right, before you apply for the course. So I hope I've been able to answer that question. But you do not need MBA foundation if you have a banking experience of at least 5 years. All right, any business experience, actually, any business related experience, even though you have coming from a science background, all right, but you've been working in that business industry for the past 5 years, you do not need foundation courses. All right, you have the knowledge, which I believe you do. Okay, then I think I'm going to answer one last question because I don't want this video to be extremely long. Okay, so somebody asked me a question. Actually, the person said, I'm trying to apply for MBA. This is just a very short question. I'm trying to apply for MBA at UCW, but the September 2025 session is not showing. Is it that the application is no longer available or they will still open it? So most times, because we're still in the year 2024, right, they are looking for people for the summer term, they're looking for people for the fall term, okay, before they will even think of opening up the 2025. All right, so be patient, just keep on checking the school page. And actually, if you read the school page properly, there's a part where they will tell you when they will start the application for that year that you're looking for. So ensure you check it, ensure you're keeping up to date. But definitely, if we're still in, because I think this person asked me this question, I did this video probably in May, right? And the summer semester had not even started. And after summer semester, there is still fall semester before the 2025 semester. Okay, so always keep up to date depending on what year you want to apply. Again, I repeat, you also have so many other options. Okay, don't focus on MBA, don't focus on UCW. There are so many other school options that you have, and I'm going to be mentioning some examples actually because I feel like I've seen this school. So there are so many schools. You have Douglas College that we have here in BC. We have Yorkville University that we have here in BC. We also have Trinity Western University, which is also here in BC. Those are some major schools that I know. Okay, University of Fraser Valley. There's also BCIT, so many other schools, and they offer some of these science courses, some of these technology courses. Please check them out so you're not just limited to business or MBA courses. All right, and then the last one for today, basically, someone said, I have a degree in accountancy and I've been an accountant for over 3 years. But during the application, they asked if I would take the MBA foundation and also submit a personal statement for that. Are you saying that I should not submit the personal statement? They ask everybody this question, no matter the course you're studying, right? I think they always ask, because even when I did my brother's application when he came here to UCW, and then he was applying for he was applying for MBA program, and he studied accounting while he was in university. Okay, and they asked the question, do you want to have the MBA foundation if we find that you're not eligible? I said no. All right, because I know that obviously it's eligible to take that course. So if you have studied accountant, I said, what am I saying accountant? I mean, because of what I'm saying. But if you studied accounting, if you've been working, like I said, accounting is like a business, okay, related. So please, you don't need the MBA foundation, and definitely write the personal statement. All right, that in the personal statement, you're able to clearly explain to them, all right, why you're eligible to take the MBA course, okay, because you have experience in business. So definitely write the personal statement. That is important. That actually allows them to know that you have, the experience needed for you to go straight to the MBA course. All right. And that will be all for today. I hope I've been able to answer your questions. I hope you've been able to learn from the things I've also said. Please ensure you use this information wisely for your use. Share with your friends, people that you think will need this video. That is very, very important. Thank you for watching. Bye, and see you in my next video.